All right. So, when last we left off, you guys had solved a big mystery in which the prevailing theme was everyone making the worst decisions possible with the information they had. Which
Gotta
is, in
love it.
fact, the way that I put together that mystery plot was I went, in every given moment, I come to a new situation. What is the worst decision they could make? And that's how I made that. So that happened. And you managed to really clean things up very nicely, considering the mess everyone had made of their own lives. And you set things right. And in doing so, you gained a long-term ally and supporter in Thaddace Meredith, and Aspen got a cool new sword.
Yeah.
Yay.
And don't worry, Kiva's fun present also exists nebulously. I know when you're going to get it. It will be at a point that makes sense. You don't know yet.
I love
That would be crazy if I did.
Because I think it's fun to give everyone presents at meaningful moments rather than just give everyone presents together.
I think it was a good mix. You can have a good mix of both.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I appreciate it, and you know, I trust you.
How long does
Yes,
it take
sword
to...
is very fun.
How long does it take to attune to something?
1 minute short rest.
Can,
Or
as they
an hour.
eat breakfast or whatever, can Aspen attune to Dinoma?
Yeah, I would say sometime in that morning, you can absolutely take the time to attune to your sword.
You're Ian, so obviously
yeah, you've got plenty of chill time. Because really, right now, the city is y'all's oyster. So Thaddace has said basically the way it'll work when you want to go to the library, he'll take you up there and basically make almost an introduction of you to the library. He'll be like, hey, these are my guests. I would like to get them provisional access to the library. And then you guys will essentially get documentation that gives you access to the library, go in and out, go in the library, as long as you don't cause problems or whatever, for about a month's time. So the city is your oyster at the moment. You don't have any pressing matters, really.
Yippee! Okay, did we want to go straight to the library or go do something else first? I know Aspen had a lot he wanted to look up just for funsies.
Yes. I have a to-do list.
I should have made it. Darn.
Just my ongoing things to remember for next time. It's not like a well, since the day before, I think this is just really quickly. Don't even want to role play it out. But at some point, or maybe on our way to the library, he was going to post those letters. This letters about the inquiry about salaries to Fiona / who is
Perfect.
her newly invented lady in waiting, handmaid combo secretary. Well, her secretary makes it easy. Seamus saying about salaries, so I'm just going to say that's been done.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Perfect.
Cool. That was number one.
And Aspen wanted to send a letter to his sibling. The non-binary one.
Sonia.
That was, thank you. I knew that. I just wasn't confident in myself.
Listen, that is the one and only of Aspen's siblings that I can confidently name off the top of my head because it's the one that comes up the most.
Good job. His best.
Thank you.
Best sibling.
That can happen later. But yeah, the library is sort of the main thing. My to-do list is otherwise sort of that. Actually, on the way to because the library is in the
religion and education.
Yes. And sorry, I was just pulling up the you sent us a
No,
little
you're good.
map
And
thing.
to send your mail, you had to go to government district briefly.
Yes. And we're staying in which district?
Merchant commerce, I think, is what you said.
Correct. That's where most of the ancient things are.
Is there on the way as I think we can probably plan to sort of head straight to and then we want to go to the park for Ozzy.
Yeah.
That's sort of the other
It's not crazy, insane, difficult to like wander around through the city throughout the day. So
but at some point on our way to the library, would there be a temple to Caelan Cahir?
There definitely are.
How do I say that again?
Cahir.
Caelan
or Caelan.
Caelan. We're going to say Caelan.
Like you can say it a little bit like a Caitlin if you took out the T.
Yeah. Kiva would stop there to pay respects.
Oh, absolutely.
And give a small a gold donation. I'm sure.
Oh, hang on. Let me pull up my what people give to Caelan Cahir.
Great.
Because I have things written down for like what normal offerings are from. Okay, so she is a little bit the most blood for the blood god one, but the blood thing is for like actual battles.
Actually, can I would like to give her one of the scorpion tail stingers that I still have.
Perfect. That's lovely. She'll love that.
As like my an offering from our feats of battle.
Good. Because I was having to scroll past the part where it was like blood, because that's for special occasions.
Yes, I read. I was like, money's boring. I still have one. Somehow you didn't with the first one, but I had 3, and now I have 1 left. I would like to just do that, and then like, we talked about there being like there's some equivalent of a sign of a cross in the. I don't know. I haven't figured out what there would be, but does that and maybe spends just like 10 minutes like in silent.
Mm-hmm.
Not really prayer, but just sort of like knowing this is what be expected of her, and wants to make that if she sees a temple that she kind of has to feeling out of obligation, but
that works beautifully.
Great.
Yeah, as I think briefly mentioned before, there are definitely like temples and things to all of the deities in this religion and education district. It's just like most of them are not as like, wow, that's crazy as the Tethynian Order temple.
Do people freak out when Kiva just pulls out a giant scorpion tail from her bag?
Not in the Temple of Caelan Cahir, they don't.
Fair enough.
And it's kind of cool. Like there are people in the sort of like courtyard of this temple. There are people like sparring and stuff. It's like it's almost like part dojo.
Kiva does stop and watch and admire them for a few moments before being like, I have to do other stuff today. I can't just do this. Great. That was just the thing that I just think she would do for her
I love it.
offering and actually, can she just like introduce herself maybe to like one of the I keep saying it's all, and then maybe introduce herself to one of the like acolytes there and just says like I'm from like I haven't done the voice in a while. My name is Kiva Corcoran. It just sort of says like, hello, I'm Kiva Corcoran, the Crown Princess of the Nation of Irador, and Caelan Cahir is our, as you may be familiar, our patron god. So just paying my respects, and would love to just put a name to a friendly, like-minded face in town. In the city town.
And then, yeah, so the woman you're talking to says, of course, you're always welcome here. We've got sparring and sorts of things, as you can see. There's always people ready for a game of chess as well. But I'm Brigitte von Gruningen. Lovely to meet you.
Brigitte von...
I'll write it down, don't worry.
Thank you. That's very honorable and warlike. I don't remember. Hold on. What's the? I need to release the Pantheon on my main notes. I downloaded it literally 6 times.
And she was just like the attendant, or like a priest of Caelan.
She's basically an attendant. There's not like it's not the organized kind of thing where there's like one person in charge or whatever. There are like probably a group of attendants or acolytes that kind of run the place.
She'll be like, she'll be like, yes, very warlike. Good to see. But perhaps that last, are there boys and girls training here, or just boys, or just girls? I guess it's a woman.
All of the above.
Great. But that lad should really put his weight into his front foot on that one when he does that. Maybe to keep his balance. I just a thought from.
The guy you were referring to looks up to be like, "Oh, thanks." And in that moment of distraction, the other guy he's sparring with like decks him in the face. It's like, "Oh."
Keep your eyes on your opponent. Sorry about that.
Yep, thanks, ma'am.
And then we'll depart again from that temple.
Brigitte will like, "Oh, you're good. Thank you. As I said, stop by any time."
Oh yeah. I'll if I have
she does
time,
wink at you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she's flirting.
Wait, was she my age? Was she pretty?
Yes and yes.
Can I don't even know if
she is hot and basically in workout clothes.
Okay, you know what? I was gonna say that I don't know if Kiva would know to insight check, but I think that post making out with the woodland elf
creatures.
That perhaps no elf. I said elf, woodland elf. That's a reasonable description. I can't remember their name.
Yeah.
Can I insight check to see if she recognizes this as flirting?
Yeah, please. I beg of you, insight check. I want to see how this goes.
I'll return. I'll return if I have time. That was very lovely to meet you.
Oh, I didn't do my roll for my.
Oh, your exciting little. And then Kiva waves goodbye, very friendly to this very beautiful hot lady in wearing clothes.
What was your insight check? I don't see it.
Oh, did it not roll it publicly?
I see
you
it.
might not have.
Yeah, it was an 8.
Well. Okay, yeah, that was the correct way to roleplay an 8. Good work.
Yeah.
I assumed the range it might be. I guess I'm just lagging or something. That's okay.
Yeah, that sometimes happens when I'm DMing. And also, well, Kiva, how far are we into the 30 days? In theory?
God.
Kiva not being able to kiss a man?
Oh.
Imagine if I had kept tallying that. You're most of the way through at this point.
I was gonna say at least 2 or 3 weeks, right? Because
I'd say
travel.
You at most have like a week and a half left.
Great, cool.
Because I used to be tallying that, and then I completely forgot.
I don't know if Kiva. I don't know what Kiva thinks about her own. I don't know if Kiva is aware of her own sexuality. or
That's okay.
or romantic interests. Oh, yeah. See,
Girl's got time.
I think that she would just not. I think that a woman flirting with her would be unexpected, and therefore she would not just be. She would just not be expecting it to be flirtatious. But also, that's a really fun little effect you got there, Aspen.
No, I'm excited.
Is.
I mean, I love that we can both in certain circumstances, because you can teleport, or is it the target of your
It's
can
the
do the
target, and the target can choose a number of creatures.
Nice.
Up to 5. Is that what your current charisma? Yeah, up to 5 creatures. So
that's crazy. That's a crazy good thing.
Damn.
But, I like that we both have only sometimes the ability to teleport away.
Well, if you want to use that today, you might have to choose violence, because I don't know that I have violence planned for you.
I mean, I don't think it requires violence. I think we could just teleport.
Mine requires violence.
I'm just saying, it would be particularly fun as a combat ability.
Yeah, it would.
Yes. Well, you'll get it again at some point.
Yeah, you're always welcome to punch people in the streets.
Yeah. That definitely won't have any negative political repercussions.
Listen, if we really want to, we can just go spar at this temple.
Yeah,
there you go. Yeah. With all the hotties wearing no clothes. But yeah, I think, do we go to the library? We make our way leisurely, perhaps, to the big old book place.
Yeah, and I think Thaddace probably meets you guys there, and he sort of takes you into whatever the front desk of the library is. Sort of, there are almost 2 front entrances. Like, there's a front entrance of the whole temple that leads more into like temple-ness, the churchy part, and then there's sort of a side front entrance. I'm describing this poorly. That leads into the library, so that there are sort of 2 main entrances for the 2 kinds of thing for which people are most often coming off the streets into the temple, if that makes sense. So he brings you in to the library portion at the like reception desk, whatever, introduces you guys as his guests essentially, and you guys do receive like officially stamped documentation saying that you have been given dispensation to access the library for the next month. And then they sort of walk you through, like, of course you're welcome to walk the stacks and explore as you see fit. There are signage and stuff. What am I saying? That doesn't sound like a person who's in this library. There are signage and such things posted at the ends of rows. If you're not familiar with our organizational system, there's also an index of sorts, a card filing system that you can look through if that would help you find what you're looking for. Or, of course, you can come to this desk at any time, and there are plenty of librarians who are more than happy to assist you with whatever you would need to go find.
Okay, I do have a question. I don't know how often you receive like new new books for your collection, but I do know that my favorite author, R.B. Caloris, am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah, that was all perfect.
Was like, I had heard that he had been working on releasing a new book from his series. Do you have it?
We absolutely do. Follow me right this way. And she takes you to the basically like new releases section.
It's right next to James Patterson's.
you're in luck. These have been absolutely being eaten up, of course. It just came out in print really less than a month ago. And she reaches up and pulls off of the shelf the new release in the Aviad series, which is entitled Accipitrid, and I will spell that for you.
I love that. I was gonna come up with some bullshit title, but
don't worry, I
Accipitrid?
have some titles.
That looks
That
like
I
it
came up
means
with.
something. What does that mean?
It's a type of bird.
It's a type of bird. Oh
my god, maybe what's his name would like it? Bird guy.
God, who was bird guy?
Earhart.
Oh, that man, yes.
Oh.
I would
Did
have
we
presumed
see any copies
he might
of
have read the Iliad.
Did we see any copies?
You saw a couple of copies of in his apartment among his, because he mostly had like technical books about birds, but he did have a few well-loved copies of especially some early books from the Aviad.
Wait, can I have a really quick sidebar from a real life bird moment that happened? I had a doctor's appointment yesterday, and I have to go get annual checks on my eyes because my brain tumor is in my occipital lobe, and so I have to get my vision checked specially. And it's the same lady who did it last time. She didn't remember that, but I remember that. And last time I went in, she had just thrown her back out, so she kept complaining about how bad her back was, and she gets the whole time. And yesterday, because my last name's Ravenel, but people say Ravenel. And so she said, Ravenel, that's so pretty. Oh, and then I sat down and she says, do you know the difference between do you know the difference between a crow and a raven? And I thought that she was going to tell me the difference because that's what it means when you ask that question. I said, oh, I don't know, but I think that they're both corvids. Which is about,
she's just been wondering.
She was like, oh, what's that? What do you mean? And I was like, that's literally the most basic bird adjacent fact. It's not really a fact. I think they're both part of the Corvidae family. So it was just like,
yeah,
they're related. They're closely related, but they're different. That's all I know. Mm-hmm. And then she was like, oh, I don't know the difference. I just always wondered. And I was just like, this feels like a raven in a writing desk all over again. But there's a real answer, and just neither of us know it. But also, why did she ask me like she was going to tell me a fun thing?
Right.
Anyways,
for the record,
it's fascinating.
I believe ravens are bigger than crows, and I think they're more like by themselves, whereas crows like to be with other crows. I think maybe I could be wrong.
A murder.
Yeah. But other than that, they're
vaguely familiar.
They're kind of basically the same thing.
Both corvids are very intelligent. Ravens have a better vibe. People like ravens more, but like it's just. A crow of 8 pinion feathers, ravens of 9, according to the Reddit, the top thing. But like, still, it was just a very funny thing of like, do you know the difference? No, I just know that they're in the same family. Yeah, I don't know.
You must have just assumed that you knew a lot about ravens because the word was in your last name.
But it's not. It's funny because my last name is spelled in such a way that my English pronunciation guides, Ravenel is how it's spelled and how it should be pronounced. Mm-hmm. It's only Ravenel because people see the word raven in it and they made that assumption.
Listen, everyone pronounces my last name wrong, which continues to impress me because I feel like, once again, the double E, I feel like is pretty self-explanatory, but everyone goes Kelly. I'm like, why? Where did you get this?
Yeah.
People read what they want to read.
Anyways, we can go back to your after school book now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. I'm so excited. I wonder if Vestile is gonna get with I don't like it. That sounds like a really old. I'm too picky.
I told her she could come up with the characters.
I shouldn't be allowed to do this.
Okay, I can do it.
You probably should.
Yeah. I'm gonna say, just for funsies, I've just decided the last book ended in a cliffhanger of the level of the, like, Percy and Anne about to fell into Tartarus level cliffhanger.
My god. Oh my
Literal
god.
Mhm.
Reuven. No, what did I say? The first one was Vasteel. Vasteel and Reuven.
Okay, it's probably not Reuven because that is the author's first name.
I totally forgot. I'm just on fantasy name generator, and I'm like, that's pronounceable.
That's really funny that you happened onto that.
Navarre? That's
there you
neat.
Go.
Navarre.
I love that for you.
Okay.
That's a good name.
I forget how the first one was spelled.
You know you're in deep when you're on a second level of fictional character naming.
Mm-hmm.
What did I name the
Listen,
first?
It's in Vasteel and Nahir.
Navarre or something, I think. Navarre.
I
don't know. Who knows?
Navarre. Wait, Navarre, that is someone's... Isn't that someone's name?
That's Ozzy's last name!
God damn it!
It's okay.
No. I can do this. We're derailing.
This is officially very funny, and I'm not gonna do it for you because it's way funnier this way.
Is Silvar someone?
Nope, you're good.
It's Silvar now.
Perfect.
Silvar.
Yeah. No, I got deeper than I should have into, like, coming up with this author and the series and whatever. I was sitting in the airport, like, sitting at our gate because we got there really early. Oh, did you guys know, fun fact, you can get to the airport too early to check your bags.
Oh, how early were you?
Like 4.5 hours.
Jeez.
Well, it's because all the TSA stuff this week's been crazy.
Yeah, fair enough.
That was the advice. We didn't need it, but that was the advice. But anyway, we were sitting at the airport gate, and I was making my parents help me decide between a bunch of, like, 2-letter abbreviations, and I was like, which one sounds the most fun author?
I love that.
I love that for you and your parents. I'm sure they had a lot of
That was after we were sitting at that gate for so long, I did half a practice LSAT.
Oh.
And then came up with an entire fantasy author.
Damn.
Perfect. This could be your Tusk Club, you never know.
Tusk.
You never know.
And what book in the series' number was this?
Oh god, it's well over 100.
It's got to be like 139. I think 138 ended with Silvar and Vasteel taking their first steps into the Deathwoods, which is like a very uninspired name if you ask me, but he's kind of built up the drama and lore around it, and it was also like established in one of the earlier books, so like his world building skills have absolutely gone up since one of the first books. But you know, they'll probably die. I mean, hopefully they don't. I love them. I need them to get together so badly. My mum would go crazy about this. She had been like almost in knots when she finished reading the last book. Like she was sorry, he like reaches and like takes it off the shelf and like just holds it to his chest like no one is getting this until I'm done reading this.
The librarian looks very happy with how happy you are.
Never heard of him?
Really? You haven't heard of him?
You've never heard?
He's been writing this series for hundreds of years.
The library is a little bit they mostly it's like historical records and wartime accounts and like political guides and etiquette and a lot of nonfiction. Not a whole lot of fiction. It's kind of mostly just, troops would come through and do puppet shows and things during, the carnival seasons. But the castle itself didn't really, or palace itself doesn't really get much of by the way of entertainment tomes. So
oh my
Right.
gods. Okay,
Well,
Aspen
yeah.
looks
your
on their
friend here
shelf.
seems
Okay.
plenty good. I also am happy to make some fiction recommendations for you. Get you started on your reading journey.
Aspen looks on the shelf and finds what he personally believes is the best entrance book to get into the series, which can't be the first one because it's such a long series.
I'm gonna say it is book 18 entitled.
I was gonna say 69.
Book 18, which is entitled Shrike.
May, how many of these did you name?
IKE or EIK?
IKE. I came up with 5 or 6 bird name titles that I was gonna throw if I needed them.
Be prepared to name another 135 for the next couple of years.
I am ready to work on it. I roped in my brother.
And is each one a different bird? For word?
They're all of the titles are bird name related.
Great.
Because it's the Aviad.
Yes, okay. I get that now.
When I came up with the series name first, and I was like, I need to come up with something that I can really iterate on.
Wait, can you determine the official number of what number a Accipitrid is then?
Is number 139.
Okay, making sure that I have that written down, because obviously Kiva will read this one that Aspen suggests is the best entry point, but then at some point she's going to go back and read the first 17, and then she's going to read the rest of them, and so we will have to roleplay each and every one of those entries.
We're going to have a book club.
Excellent. I will start coming up with plots.
Hell yeah.
They need plots, and they will need names. This is like the collection. It's like the collection aspect in a video game where you just find all the books that you can add them to your have seen this one.
Perfect. That is the amount of dedication I want to have to put into this.
Aspen, you'll have to give the buyers a list of titles to start a fiction section in the library. It's kind of absurd. I think that the Royal Library wouldn't have any cultural tales from Irador, so you'll have to help me with that once we get to Irador at some point. As part of your duties as the Royal Historian Scribe best friend person.
I would be more than happy to oblige. More than happy. And also hopefully feel thoughts myself. Okay. But
like what I was saying.
As a note to part of what Kiva said, R.B. Kelleroris is a Xanian, not Iradorian. The books are all originally written in Elvish.
Great. I do not speak Elvish.
These are translations.
Aspen absolutely did grab the Elvish one for you, and then he was like, "Oh, you don't speak yeah." And then he gets the translated one.
But the translations are not seen as inferior because Kelleroris translates all of them himself. So
he's perfect.
Right.
I made him just for you. Kiva's
notice was also we also need realizing. Wait, no, culture is an important part of the historical record, and so she's saying that's how she'll frame the initiative, but also,
hell yeah,
even if they didn't originate in Irador, if they're meaningful to Iradorians, I think that still makes them culturally significant.
And at this point, there have been plenty of Iradorian characters in there, so
great.
I love this guy.
I'm so glad. He can be the perfect man because he doesn't need to be real.
Yay! So do we want to split up and find our own thing, like research stuff, or do we want to just have this poor attendant take us all around the library to like a Google search engine?
Yeah. So it also depends on for various things. You can research any given thing in the manner you want to. Like, if you want to just go looking for stuff, if you want to use that index filing system to look for stuff, if you want to ask her or a different librarian, all of these options are available to you.
I feel like Aspen would feel very comfortable going around using the filing system.
Hell yeah.
Kiva would not, so she turns to the attendants and just says, "Giants?"
Of course. We've got a few sections that will have some things on giants for you. And I will have you go ahead and roll an investigation check with advantage, because she's going to be like pointing you to areas, but to find the information within, because she'll be like, let me pull these 8 books for you. And then you're going to have to.
Can Aspen give guidance?
Absolutely.
Aw, yeah.
What'd you get? I can't
A
see.
natural 20.
Okay, that makes my life easier, because
Totally.
Sorry, 24.
I will say the most annoying part of prepping the library research stuff for me was deciding like what I'm gonna give you at each DC, whatever.
That is a
I was like,
thing for me too, of like what is enough and what is not. What is
everything?
I know. I'm like, let me tell you all the things you want to know.
This is so exciting, because the giant stuff is the stuff I spent the most time prepping of the library info, because I knew about it long earlier. So here's
Hold on, let me take my notes. Count up to my notes.
Yeah. I'm excited.
I like to write down when I get nat 20, or when any of us get a significant roll and to look back. Great. Okay, I'm now caught up in my notes.
All right. So first of all, because there are a bunch of different sorts of documents and text and things that you find that all give you different types of information. Like, this is the work of you and this woman over several hours. She is in this trench with you.
We stand her.
Yeah. Oh, damn, she needs a name then. Hang on. Her name is Jane Lowell.
Perfect.
All right. So first of all, Lowell. Yep.
The normal way.
Yeah, and her first name is Jane, spelled the normal way.
Is she
Very brave of her.
Tethys? Is she a sister?
Yeah.
Okay.
She is.
Okay, how's Ozzy doing? Is he with us, or did he decide not to come?
He's with you. He and Saskia have gone on a adventure in the fiction section, because she has not read any of these books, of course, because she hasn't been exposed to these. And Ozzy does have some like childhood favorites and stuff, so he's telling her what to find, and she's going and finding it, and they're reading together.
Oh, that's adorable. I love that for them. Oh my god, her and Kiva can have a book club reading the Aviad together.
Yeah.
Cute.
Okay.
All right. So first of all, concerning, because one thing that I think Hero had mentioned to you, in the documentation, or not document, in the like letter he sent you, which I did find, by the way, I did find where we had that written down. It's if you go to like journals or notes or whatever in Foundry, which I never think to check for things that I've made in the past. But that's where that is. He had mentioned some like mysterious ancient ruins in Hyregoth that might be a lead on giants and cloud giants. So concerning that topic, hang on, I've lost my place on the page. Okay, concerning that, one thing that you find are some like journals or logs that are recovered from failed expeditions to these ruins. And from those, you're going to be able to, and some of this I'm just going to tell you like what you will be able to find from those because the information won't be pertinent yet, but you can like check it out, whatever. So from those, you're probably going to be able to glean some details on like, if you go up there, what you might encounter, traps, conditions, lore, mistakes that people made. Because there have been like, these ruins have never been actually explored, but there have definitely been failed expeditions up there. Like all of the people that like tried to climb Everest before anyone managed it, that kind of thing. And then along with those journals and logs, you are able to find some maps of questionable quality and varying quality that can help pinpoint a more specific location for the ruins other than just northeastern Hyregoth. And then moving away from the Hyregoth ruins, there are some really old writings that mention the giants and their disappearance. So the gist of what you get from these is that around the time that civilization across AEOLUS was becoming more organized and formal, the giants seem to have all become reclusive and or disappeared. Some of these writings are accompanied by the notes or analysis of more recent scholars that are sort of discussing and debating credibility of these accounts. Sort of like the stuff you get from like the accounts of Pompeii and everything that happened there, and the more recent stuff that's like, did this bitch just make everything up? You know, you encounter some scholarly beef. It's a good time. And these writings, these old writings on the disappearance also go into the giant lifespan debate. Some say they live hundreds of years, some claim over 1,000, and some believe them, or at least their ancestors, to be immortal as far as aging. Next, another thing you find is...
Also, wait, really quickly, just to pause, just to note, in case it's pertinent, I do speak and read Giant and Primordial and Dwarven.
Beautiful. Likely, you're not going to find any text here in Giant or Primordial.
Just noting in case those are the ones that came from learning Giant.
Yeah. And I would say actually that in this library, the Tethynians have pretty much everything translated into multiple languages.
Great. Cool.
The library is librarying.
Yeah.
You also find some archaeological works, like almost like scholarly journal articles kind of thing, that go into the theorized much larger frame of giants compared to humans and the higher bone density. So what you read about is that a full giant skeleton has never been successfully reconstructed, which does embolden the scholars who claim that they never actually existed in the first place. You know otherwise, but...
You said they were denser than humans? Is that...
Yeah, their bones are more dense.
Which they don't need to be because that's...
hold up like, that much weight.
Hold up, yeah. Because... Like even the enlarged spell, it always sounds crazy when you say that somebody's 8 times heavier than their normal size, but you're like, well, if you're doubling in all 3 dimensions, then they have to be 8 times denser to make that work.
And like birds, bones less
dense. Yeah, birds. Yeah, bird bones. Urban.
Bird bones sounds like an insult. I like it.
I think it is an insult.
I mean, bird bones.
Maybe not insult, but like, I've definitely heard like people describe someone delicate as having bird bone. You know.
Yeah, and then the last sort of category of texts that you find are scholarly texts discussing like giant history and culture. So these would be from like historians, archaeologists, anthropologists, about giants overall. Information in this includes that they mostly lived in small groups, like tribes or families. Ancestry and lineage were highly valued. Their social structure was extremely hierarchical, especially through a specific giant social structure or like hierarchy thing called the ordning. And there's certainly more niche stuff in these texts about all the different types and works trying to draw the taxonomic link between giants and like ogres, firbolgs, cyclopes, etc. And big thing you find is there is one scholar whose work specialized in the niche of the cloud giants in particular. So big thing for you. Be glad you rolled so high. And this scholar's name, she was an elven woman, Azanian, and her name, which I will spell for you because it's elven, and so it's a little wonky, is Ilsevel Aetumal.
I'll just wait till you type it and I can copy and paste it.
Yeah. Listen, it's not my fault. She's an elf.
And you said she's Asian?
Azanian, yeah.
Asian. As soon as I said, I was like, that just sounds like I said Asian.
She is dead, but...
Is Asian Aezean or IAN?
Oh, hang on. So, Azan, the nation itself, is Aezan, and then Azanian, the demonym, is Aezanian.
Okay.
Yeah, the country with IAN at the end. Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
And I will share with you, I will make you like viewable in Foundry, some excerpts of her writings that might be helpful to you. Yeah, I had a fun time.
Let's see. Great. I have questions about three questions.
Perfect. And her excerpt should be under journal, and you should be able to see them now.
Great. Yes. Oh, I see the heading from Hero. Okay, great. I'll read that. Not right a second. But I will. Well, okay. So 3 questions. 1, is the stuff about culture and history, is that in line? Is the information seemingly in line with what I would have recognized when I was a wee lass?
Somewhat, yeah. So I mean, it's less in line with what you experienced, because what you experienced was sort of like the cloud giant specific version.
Yeah.
But Freya would have told you a lot of stories about giants in general, and this honestly seems pretty solid.
Great. So as we're going through this with Jane, Kiva's muttering under her breath, well, that's not right. Oh, well, they got that part. Okay. Just sort of like little notes about that. 2, can I commission copies to be made of the things that are that I think are the most like to take with, things that I might want to refer to later if I think I might need to?
I'd say basically, yeah. Or like,
great.
You can take notes, etc.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, I'm gonna pay somebody else to do it because I'm a princess.
Yeah.
And I don't want to write it up, but I'd like to commission exact copies of the mysterious ancient ruined materials.
Yeah.
And probably this last one because it seems more important because you actually wrote it. Weird how that works, for sure. And then I had a third
because
thing.
It's the only one about cloud giants in particular. So
Yeah, great, makes sense. Is it ordning? Is it ORDNING?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. it's like the D&D, and it's a phrase in D&D for giants, but I wanted to make sure it was spelled the same.
Yeah. Yep.
Great.
I'll be so honest, I didn't come up with separate giant info. I used theirs.
No, that's valid. I did a little bit of research when I was building I was reading some stuff when I did the character, but I didn't read that much, but I was like, this is fun, but I didn't read more than that, but okay. But yeah, great. I am reading now the fun things you created for me.
So that's what you and Jane and your afternoon working on.
Wait. Okay, one more question.
I probably have an answer.
Nope, never mind. I don't have that.
Okay, cool.
Well, actually, I do. I do in that I was looking back and I wanted to go. What is the spelling of? Actually, maybe you already put it in there. I'll go check if you already put it in there. You might have. A long time ago. Houghton Kemper.
Jotunkampa.
That one.
Yep, it's up there.
Great. Yes. Oh, yes. You put the little letters together, and I just didn't write that.
I didn't put the letters together.
Yeah,
it wasn't me.
Yes, I spelled it I just typed it as it was pronounced because that was the easier way of doing it when I did those notes. Okay.
Yeah. All right, perfect.
Wow.
All right, that is your bounty. Aspen, where do you want to start?
Well, while Eva has the attendant distracted.
There are also other librarians that you can grab if you want.
Dang it.
But you can also do your own thing. That's okay.
Yeah. I feel like he would want to try and be sneaky, subtle type. He wants to look up stuff about the tieflings and Ozzy. Learn as much as he can, because like I mentioned to you in the text when you asked what we wanted to look at, I would think that, the goddess of knowledge herself wouldn't be very happy if they banned stuff from a library dedicated specifically to her. But she's also the goddess of order, so I don't know. So Aspen is curious, of course.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to make you roll different investigation checks for different topics. First, roll me an investigation check for tieflings.
He's going to give himself guidance.
Absolutely. Feel free. Because once again, my life is easier if you guys succeed at these.
31!
31?
31!
So
fucking okay.
Aspen some kid rolled a nat 20 and said, actually, I bet I got you. Let me one up you there.
Perfect. This was another one where I had like some of them are easy. Some of the topics you asked about are easy enough that I didn't put a high DC on. There are a few things in this topic in particular that had a 20 plus. So you're getting the deets. All right. So yeah. All right. So on tieflings, there's nothing concerning the past 200-ish years, which would be since the exile. Not really anything mentioning tieflings. And then there's nothing that you find that's specifically about tieflings pre-exile either. Though it's not that weird to have species not specified in a lot of stuff. So presumably they were present in a lot of the history stuff, but people weren't always in, say, old Aldhallan history, they weren't these 3 men rode into battle. This one was a tiefling. That would be a little weird. They weren't saying everyone's species. So, but nothing that's specifically talking about tiefling history before then. But especially because you rolled so high, looking deeper at this, what is notable to you as you're going through historical record is that there doesn't seem to be evidence of people being like suspicious about the nature of tieflings in the lead up to the conflict that caused their exile. Almost like this racism against the tieflings cropped up out of nowhere. Like, you're not seeing a building of tiefling racism pre-200 years ago. And then that was sort of a lot of what you don't find. What you do find is historical writings that cover the conflict that resulted in their exile 200 years ago. So here's the gist of what the historical record says went down. The tieflings, in league with / on behalf of their fiendish demon and devil ancestors, began sowing destruction across the continent, aiming to bring death and chaos to the mortal plane, and ultimately aiming to depose the pantheon of gods in order to install evil or fiendish deities in their place. The armies of the continent rose up against them, and the followers of the gods acted in defense of the natural order as well. Primarily, of course, devotees of Caelan Cahir were well represented, because, they do the fighting. And the followers of Tethys activated as well, because this was about preservation of order. Even the disciples of Ajax and champions of Petra, who are not really known to worship or work in groups, they're more known to do their thing more solitary ways. But even they were coming in to help with this. After years of brutal warfare, the tieflings were subdued, and following a summit of the continent's leaders, think like a Nuremberg trials or a Geneva Convention almost, the tieflings were sentenced to exile from the continent, the consensus being that their malevolent heritage could not be trusted, and this was the best way to safeguard the people of the continent.
So you said they were like uprising a little bit in support or worship of their fiendish, devilish gods, and then that's what pissed everyone else off? Okay.
They were uprising a lot bit, perhaps. Like, enough that the entire continent activated against them. And then, your special prize for beating and really far surpassing the DC 20. Jesus.
I love my son. I was going to give him the... I think it was like the prodigy feat or something that would have given him another expertise, but I was like, that's too much. That's
Bards.
Too much.
Bards.
Bards.
You do, while you're getting used to this like card filing system, whatever, one curious thing that you do come across is something that essentially references a text that, according to what you're looking at, the library ostensibly has that concerns tieflings. That would, you think from what you're looking at, be something about tieflings pre-exile. But that when you look, it's not there on the shelves or anything. This is essentially evidence that there are texts that should be here and aren't.
Is it like there's an empty space in the shelf where it should be, or like the books have been like squished together and so it looks like a normal shelf, it's just not there?
Yeah, the shelf looks normal.
Okay.
There are no empty spaces or anything on the shelf. There's no indication that this is just like checked out or someone's looking at it. The only evidence that this text should be here is like an old indexing card. for like a call number that you can't find existing.
Interesting.
Does that the missing text have a name?
Oh, I didn't give it one.
Okay.
Oh boy. Did I not think of that?
At this moment, or ever. Curious?
You don't have to come up with
that.
one right now. It's
I'll
okay.
think on that. It's honestly probably something really dry and boring title-wise. Like a history of the tiefling peoples of AEOLUS or something like that, you know? Or it's probably more like, because it wouldn't, I don't know that it would be, it's probably like in a series of volumes, almost like an encyclopedia thing that's like a history of the peoples and species of AEOLUS, and it's the volume that would have concerned or included tieflings. That's what it is. I've decided.
Presume that the fiendish, devilish god they were talking about was the Amu
So
from the story, or is
it's weirdly, things are weirdly non-specific about like what devils and demons and fiends that they were into, and it's actually, from what you can tell, it's fiends and demons and devils that were not yet gods. They were hoping to install them as gods.
Okay.
Okay, can I ask a question, even though Kiva's researching other stuff?
Please
elsewhere?
do. You guys would all like probably
because
chat
we
about
would
this later.
eventually. So, the racism that cropped up out of nowhere 200 years ago, was that in reaction specifically to the tieflings rising up, or does it seem like the tieflings or does it seem like the cause and effect is that the racism came out of nowhere, then tieflings started rising up, or was it tieflings rose up and people were like, "Well, stop rising up and killing us all"? Like,
it seems to be tieflings started terrorizing the continent, and then people were like, "Damn, these bitches have demons for parents." That's
these bitches
odd.
have demons for parents.
That's kind of sus.
The racism is recorded here as being like valid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Racism.
Of course, unreliable narrator. So we don't even know how specifically violent these tieflings were being.
No. Racism is validated by historical record.
Right.
But that history is written by the winners, right? So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the losers can't remember anything about it.
Like, according to what you read, they were definitely like killing a lot of people, raping, pillaging, burning cities, whatever. That's the vibe. That's the gist.
But just like went from like not attacking anybody ever to like one day it randomly started doing it, but they started doing it a bunch. Like kind of.
I mean, not necessarily not attacking anybody ever, but not like as a
not organized, like
not as a group, because presumably from everything you're seeing before that, presumably there was not like the tieflings weren't all living together or anything. They were just citizens of various societies. And then from what you're reading, they all activated like sleeper agents and started murdering everyone.
Interesting.
Because of the influence of the demons and devils and fiends. Some of that is because, like, obviously the people writing it don't have insight into, like, nobody interviewed the tieflings afterwards to be like, how did you get to this point? What were the beginning stages of this?
Is there is there information about demons and devils and fiends in general that would be we could find a related?
God.
And a clarifying point, when we say demons, are we talking like sort of our Western, like Americanized sort of demon, which is like anything which is like kind of interchangeable from devil, so like something from hell, or are we specifically talking about like the Shadowfell
D&D.
demon?
We are talking about D&D fiends.
Okay, so fiends, so demons, devils, and fiends are different. Or fiends are maybe both.
Yeah.
But the abyss and the hells exist.
Yeah. So sort of I have caused things to be oddly complicated by also creating a separate underworld. And that was a mistake on my part, but we're gonna gloss over it. We're gonna say it all works. So from what I understand of how the D&D shit works, fiend is a category which includes devils and demons.
Yeah.
And devils and demons either can be the parental source of a tiefling line.
Yeah, so we talked about that at one point with Jared, because I was like, oh, there's no, is there an Abyssian tiefling? And it is in that, because all the tiefling subclasses or subraces are based on the devils, but there also could be, but basically, is it still like Abyss is chaotic evil, hell is lawful evil vibes? Cool.
Probably, yeah, that sounds good.
So are they separate places in AEOLUS lore, or is it just like this circle of hell is chaotic, but this circle of hell is more lawful, but it's like the same plane of existence?
I would say they refer to sort of, so I've just decided how I can make this work with the separate underworld I've accidentally created that caused a problem. So in the understanding of the people of AEOLUS, the Pythios underworld is where dead souls of mortals go. And that's how that works. And then like the Shadowfell and the like what are I guess referred to as like the deeper hells inhabited by devils, those exist separately in much the way they do in like Forgotten Realms D&D lore.
Okay.
That we're used to. Boom. I have made 3 hells work.
Great. Good job.
You can always add more hells. You just got to give them different jobs. That's the moral of the story.
I do like how in D&D in general, you're able to sort of be like, great, I'm going to build an entire world, but I don't really feel like doing this, like figuring out this part of it. So I'm actually just going to go back to Forgotten Realms and just pull whatever they do in.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how it should be. Great. Let me just have some default answer for some of these things.
And that's also easier concerning things that like for you and me kind of collaborating on giant and cloud giant stuff because you made the character and I'm making the world, it worked really well to use the Forgotten Realms stuff because that is a common source language between us.
Yes.
And because a lot of the mechanics of the system and the rules as written rely on Forgotten Realms lore. So
yeah. Wait, so great. So is there anything about are you able to like locate anything about devils and demons and fiends on their, like, is there anything about them more specifically related to this history time period?
I would say definitely like you can find stuff about them in general. That's a lot of the like basic information that you would find from like a quick glance at the wiki, whatever, like that kind of thing. I would say in some of those same history texts that were discussing that conflict, you would find like, once again, nobody interviewed the tieflings in a rigorous format. So there's not like, nobody knows like which specific demons and devils were involved in this plot, whatever. There aren't, nobody's naming names, which might in part be because somebody knows, but people don't want to like write that shit down because names have power, whatever.
I bet it was in that book that's missing.
Who knows?
That's all
Yeah,
the answers we could
some demons, actually the reason that that book is missing is some devil's name was there and he didn't want that getting spread around, so he took it.
He didn't want to get doxxed. Understandable.
Exactly, and that's natural. But it mostly references like there were perhaps like openings being created between the mortal plane and the Shadowfell or the deeper hells for fiends to spill out onto the mortal plane, etc. Is that kind of what you were asking? Good. I hoped it was. All right.
Wait, one more. I'm sorry, I'm
Yeah.
rereading again the excerpt.
Don't
from
apologize. I'm
great.
happy to be
And
here.
just this is just me doing the check of, are these sources to be trusted as the truth? Does the excerpt from the text align with my experience from being, again, 8 years old at the time or so, and not having understanding of necessarily some of the like larger themes and things of like that, but like it seems like, oh yeah, I remember gardens, like big terraces and gardens, and like the palaces, like having like these big things and there being like
This seems
gambling
pretty
around.
accurate.
Like, it seems like pretty accurate. Okay, so I feel like I can trust the source. Is basically like what I'm. Great.
Yeah,
cool.
I, in preparing this, felt that it would be counterproductive to have you do a bunch of research and find shit that was wrong. So
hey, I recognize that. I know that I would also feel the same way if I was a DM preparing this. At the same time, I don't know.
Right.
And also there are myths.
Yeah.
So, myths.
I'm glad you asked.
Yes. Great.
I will say on that topic, probably in your like overall research and all of the like more non-verbatim bits of stuff I was giving you, you probably did find a lot of stuff that you recognized as incorrect.
Yeah.
And I mean, we even talked about the stuff where people were like, giants never existed, and that's not true. You probably found a lot of misinformation. I just didn't bring it up because it was not additive to your experience.
Fair. Cool.
But there's plenty, I assure you.
Great. Also, the last line goes real hard, and Kiva does get somber after reading that. It closes the book. And for your context, I would share all this. Can you also see it in your?
I can.
I will confer. I will confer observership upon you.
Yay.
Beautiful. But it ends by saying, "For in studying them, one perceives not only greatness, but the peril of believing oneself above all others, even the turning of the ages." And Kiva, as someone who does firmly believe she is above many other people, because that's just like, not in terms of value of life, but she is like above other people. Is very
that is
humbled.
What both the monarchy and the cloud giant mentality put into you. So fair.
Yes. Yeah, she's a perfect little princess. Why wouldn't she be? So that really, really slaps.
I had fun taking my tidbits of information and trying to write them in the style of like 12th century scholar.
And just because, yes, I appreciate it. You did a good job.
Thank you. Can you tell I've been rereading the Odyssey?
My last thing is I assume that I would have found if there's anything here on it on Nat 20, but just because I already talked about it, the Hoden Temper. Is there anything around that phrase anywhere?
No.
No. Okay.
Nothing that talks about it any more than like, as we talked about, you were able to, with your knowledge of the giant language, translate that as like champion of the giants, essentially.
Yes.
Nothing that you don't see mention of that phrase.
Cool. Yeah. Just Thaddace.
Good to check.
They sound beautiful. Oh my god.
I know. Well, after we sort of reconvene, when we reconvene and we share all these things, Kiva like makes a point to re-examine her the necklace that she always wears, which is like a beautiful like gem adorned like necklace that is like her gift from the giants, that is appropriate for a princess of her caliber to be wearing day to day, but did not come from the royal treasury. As a piece of jewelry that is not owned by the crown, I would say, probably.
Yeah. I mean, it's owned by the crown in that it's owned by you.
Yes, but it's not. But it's. I feel like there is a differentiation between, like, you know, Kate Middleton wears the queen's. They're not hers until she's queen.
Right.
But this is hers. And when and Kiva sort of like looks in a mirror, just like, or like a reflective surface nearby, sort of look at the passage and that, and yeah, they were real pretty. Real pretty. It was a castle made of clouds, so what do you expect? She sort of just daydreams dreamily about it all. Yeah.
I should read this.
Yeah.
Nothing I think that will come up imminently, but it is very
Did
I will say
you have did Kiva have anything else she wanted to look up while she was at the library?
This is less like need actual information now, but just like if there's like a book that she can read in her free time about like other forms of government, like about like how the Senate works in regard. Like, I don't think we need to go through that. I know how democracy kind of works, but I think Kiva is just generally like that. I mean, she'll want to talk to people too about it, but I think she would like to read sort of like an account of like maybe also commissions a copy of that to add to the government library of Irador about like other forms of government. Not that she's like not in the way it's like she is not even close to the thought of anti-monarchy, but just like good to know our neighbors.
Right. Diplomatically, it's important to understand how everyone else's government works. Yeah. And you definitely find plenty of stuff about that.
I also think she would see like the inherent value in like hearing what your people want, but like I think that she hears that part of it, but wouldn't absorb any like.
Right.
She's not trying to overthrow the crown and institute democracy. She just is like, oh, like, are there things we could take from this that we could implement that would, allow us to reconvene more as a nation than just on like open mic night and other major holidays.
Yeah. Because I would say, like, to you, growing up as a monarchist and whatever, I would say that probably this Senate system to you seems really chaotic and inefficient.
Yes.
Because, like, so many people have to agree for any little thing to happen.
Yes. And that is, and I think Kiva does want to witness if the Senate meetings are like open. She would like to sit in on one at some point. We do not have to play through that. I don't want to, but I think Kiva would want to just like witness and see and absorb to be able to speak to it later. But yeah, I think those are the main. I mean, let me just go back to see what I said. I wanted her to do what I said.
I had like 90 things I wanted to look up.
Not 90. Go ahead, then.
And I am prepped.
Yeah, you please go. I think that really giant stuff was the main thing, and you already did the tiefling stuff.
We did the tiefling stuff, but I had also wanted to know more about Ozzy. I know we kind of know it's just like desolate wasteland kind of thing, but I want to see if there's anything hiding that might have happened like before the tieflings were sent there. Or
yeah, I will, because Ozzy isn't one of the like huger things that I have in the topics I've prepped for you. I will lump that in with your goddamn 31.
Yeah,
happily, because 31. So on Ozzy, what you find is consistent with what you know about it. So it has been barren and kind of not really habitable for an exceedingly long time. And there haven't been, like, all of the archaeological, geological, whatever accounts that you find are from a really long time ago, because a really long time ago, people were kind of like, yeah, we've seen what we needed to see here. It's a pretty small island. Nobody really wants to be here. We've expeditioned all that we want. And you also find that it hasn't been volcanically active in over roughly 600 years.
So well before the tieflings went.
Yeah. So it is like, it's made of dormant volcanoes pretty much at this point. But as volcanoes are, you never know.
Do I find anything of, like, maybe ancient civilization or, like, old civilizations having, like, stories about Ozzy, like, that is hell or something, since... Or...
There's a lot of old lore of, like, monsters live there, whatever, as you get from a lot of, like, scary, uninhabitable places where, especially because, like, before people really understood how the volcanic activity worked, they were like, damn, there's that weird little island in the distance, and sometimes there's, like, plumes of smoke and fire and lava. That's crazy. Horrible monsters must live there.
Yeah.
And then later on, they were like, oh, it's volcanoes. Don't worry, it's volcanoes.
Did Ozzy seem to be, like, more active prior to its last big eruption, or, like, it was pretty active and then stopped, or, like, that seems like it was a rare thing? Like,
it was sort of over a really long time. The, like, I guess geological record puts together sort of a diminishing pattern of volcanic activity. So it sort of, like, slowed to a stop. This is me talking out of my ass. I don't know how volcanoes work.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, Mount St. Helen was just a mountain until it exploded. So, like...
The only volcano things I know are about Vesuvius in particular.
Fair enough. And this is a fantasy world, so it totally works.
When there's magic, it doesn't, like... That's how I stopped worrying about biomes, like, adjacency on other places. I'm just like, there could be snow there because there's magic. Like, if a dragon can exist, then so can this.
I unfortunately thought way too much about plate tectonics when making this map.
No.
Oh, I know. I mean, it's good. I mean, like, obviously it's good, but also I can, it's also okay to hand wave it. You can do either one.
Yeah. There was a point in the process at which I realized it didn't matter to any of the three of us, and what was I doing?
As good. I actually one other thing that I think Kiva would maybe be curious about, that I did not tell you in advance, so if you don't have
that's okay.
Anything,
I'm
that's
ready.
also okay. I think Kiva would want to check out the writings here about Irador to, like, learn more about how it's perceived diplomatically. If there's anything about her family history in particular that maybe she just, like, I think she's just aware of, like, from Saskia and the tieflings, like, story, and, like, hearing from Colleen, who had said, like whatever, like, parroted back what we had learned in history. I'm just, like, realizing that maybe history isn't what she was taught as she thought it was. So maybe, like, just, like, good to know, both to know to make those diplomatic decisions, but also just, like, those inklings of, like, is there things I haven't been told because of who I am?
Roll me a little investigation for that.
You can have a bardic this time, because this feels important.
Oof, and the bardic is a what? A D6?
A D6.
And then tell me what you got, because Foundry hate me.
25.
Nice! Alright, nobody is having trouble researching anything, which is actually the ideal scenario for me, because it would be sad if I didn't get to tell you things. So I will say, first of all, one thing you find is a lot of familiar texts. Like, they have pretty much all the same texts.
Yeah.
Except for a select few that are like proprietary or whatever the hell.
And Kiva writes down the titles and hands them to Jane and says, I recommend you requisition copies of these to add to your Irador section because it's not fully complete. Whatever ones that would make sense.
What I mean is pretty much the only ones that they don't have here.
Okay.
Your family doesn't want them to.
Okay. I thought you meant that there maybe were. Okay. Never mind then. I don't do that.
Yeah, it's like ones that Irador is stingy about. That's the ones that aren't here. And
Great.
You are able to see, like, they have texts in this library from all over the continent. It's not just, like, concentrated on Alhala stuff. Yeah. So you're able to read stuff. There definitely is, like, you read some interesting commentaries that Kiva may or may not be ready to fully understand that are, like, kind of anti-monarchy. And that kind of thing. And you definitely read some stuff that talks about, especially like way more ancient Irador as kind of the bully of the nations at one time. Like, that's part of why Irador is so big, is that they were often the aggressors in pushing out boundaries. Which you know. But you've never seen it. You've always seen it and heard it talked about in a much more
like
romanticizing, glorifying light.
Rather than Destiny vibes.
Yeah. Rather than, damn, those Irish bitches were bullying everyone.
I was to say this though. For once, it's kind of nice for the Irish people to be the aggressors and not the victims of a genocidal and like massive continent scale conflict. You know, they in real life they were committed against, and in fantasy world they can commit some light.
Yeah,
bullying.
Especially because Aldhala, who you and Irador see as kind of a pussy nation, are very Old English, Saxon, medieval England, whatever, which traditionally that relationship is the other way. So,
while we're kind of on the Irador mindset, Aspen also wanted to look up, did I write it down? He wants to look into royal Iradorian marriage laws to see if he can find some sort of loophole for Kiva to get out of marrying someone she doesn't want to. Or even if Kiva wants to allow her older sister to regain the status of crown princess.
That's my best friend!
You go ahead and roll your investigation check on that shit.
It goes to tell you that I literally, myself and Kiva, did not even contemplate that being an option to look up.
Yeah, so that's kind of like, you get the information that you get about Irador. None of the information itself is new or shocking to you, Kiva. But the lens and the perspective on it are not as unerringly positive as you're used to, for sure.
Aspen's giving himself guidance because this is very...
Hell yeah.
God damn it.
Can I do like some sort of insight check to like think, because like this is my first time in a while that I've like been out of Irador, of like if this is like if this is recoloring some of our interactions that we've had, that maybe like, no, I don't think she's at that point yet. I think she's just like, oh, this is weird.
I was gonna say too, you don't need an insight check for that. That is a you character decision.
Yeah. Great.
I'm just gonna let you have fun.
Yeah.
You decide when little girl comes out of her shell.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking more about if looking back, I thought maybe I recognized that in other people, like that.
Okay, yeah.
That
Gotcha.
like the way that like if you were to go to Europe as an American and you were like, I'm an American, they'd be like, ooh. But if you were like, yeah, I'm Baron Trump, they'd be like, fuck you.
Yeah,
right?
Fair enough.
But I don't think she's ready for that
Real.
to think about that. Because I'm not. I'm having too much
Real.
fun playing her as a princess who loves her country to
Hell yeah.
rock the boat that much yet.
Mm-hmm. And also, I will say, like, one thing that you know as well is definitely in the way of many countries, the way that you were raised, there was definitely, it's not that there was completely no critical lens on Irador's past, especially, you know, like, y'all don't really go to war a lot anymore. So you brought up and kind of like, we don't need to do that anymore. That was a little bit of a lot that we did. We can chill now. So there was not no critical lens on the old practices, but there really wasn't a critical lens on the current practices at all. Because, duh. Aspen, you said 15 on that stuff?
Is it possible that I could say that I went and got help from one of the librarians, or I've already rolled it? Okay, thank you.
No, go for it. That's fine. Take your advantage.
Wait, so May, to be clear, this shows the critical lens on contemporary politics of Irador that is new, or whereas Kiva kind of was aware that there's a critical lens on past war mongering.
Yeah.
Irador. Yeah.
And even a far more critical lens than you're used to on the past stuff.
Yeah.
Because the lens that you're used to on that is like, ooh, we had some oopsies in our past.
Yeah. Ultimately, it's for the might of our nation.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, we did some things that were cringe but necessary.
Genocide, etc. Probably, maybe.
Yeah, and all of the things that you're seeing now are like, that was so not necessary.
So taking the guidance roll I had already rolled, that is a 21.
Hell yes. Okay. Once again, I love to be allowed to tell you everything. Honestly, also, most of the stuff on this was DC 15 anyway, at most. So. All right. So you can definitely find legal records and documents in this library for any of the nations of AEOLUS. It's one of those things where it was like easy to find, a lot to weed through for you. So that's where the DCs on stuff came from. But also, you've surpassed them. That doesn't matter. So kind of the basics that you find. So essentially, the first 6 people in the line of succession require the sovereign's consent in order to marry. Without such consent, they and their children would be disqualified from succession. So this is, in technicality, what happened to Caoimhe.
You said requires sovereign's consent for them to...
Yeah.
What do you say her name was? Caoimhe?
Yeah. So we're going to confirm these 6 people right now. So was Caoimhe...
Oh, hold up. I have a list. Give me a second.
I mean, I've been pulled up my own family tree. It would be Caoimhe.
I have, though, separately from your family tree, I have a list because talking about how succession works, it is, as you, like, I did be lazy and steal this from basically how England works. It is like primogeniture. So older children, their descendants inherit before younger children. Spouses don't inherit.
Yeah.
So if I pull up,
so it was going to be... So mine would be Caoimhe, Kiva, Killian, Sean would be next, right?
Yes, and then is Siobhan's mom Saoirse alive?
You can tell me that. I don't know.
Okay.
I have strong feelings either way, but okay. But I think Sean is older than...
Yes, that's what I have.
Yeah.
So right now, those 6, if Saoirse is alive, those 6 would be Kiva, Killian, Sean, Saoirse, Siobhan. If Saoirse is not alive, number 6 is Maeve.
Can I see the family tree? If it's on like an easy to share document, not like
I can just paste it.
Don't worry, it's an image.
It doesn't have like ages or anything. It just has.
Mhm.
I was gonna be really ambitious and put in all the pictures, and I just gave up on that.
Fair. Oh, I'm wrong. Maeve is in those 6 either way. If Saoirse is not alive, Orlaith is also in there. Numbers are hard, and I'm just a girl.
numbers are hard.
Sorry, it won't let me paste it from my Google Docs. So let me just find it in my saved pictures. Quickly.
So basically, we just need to con Kiva's dad into consenting for Kiva to marry whoever she wants.
Oh, I have more for you.
Oh, good. Thank God.
We've only just begun. So continuing, as Kiva knows and has mentioned to you, non-humans aren't permitted to enter the line of succession to the throne, but as you find and read, and as I think Kiva's aware, this isn't actually technically a law. It's just a really old tradition that's upheld through that other law I mentioned. Like, essentially, just for a really long time, whenever anyone has sought consent to marry a non-human to bring them into the line of succession, or to bring those children into the line of succession, the sovereign's been like, no. So, as we mentioned, succession passes through primogeniture. Adopted children and children born out of wedlock are not eligible to succeed. More on that shortly, because you did a good job on your roll. All right, so then some of the stuff that's a little less, this would have been the DC 15 stuff. Because this stuff, a lot of it is less about finding what is there and more about being thorough enough to recognize what isn't there in these laws and codes and whatever that you're reading. So there's nothing that actually requires the monarch to marry at all. They're also not actually required to produce heirs, since that would be a wild law to have or enforce. You can't be like, legally you have to make baby. But shit's kind of complicated if they don't produce heirs. So there's definitely an expectation and a duty and responsibility on the monarch to make baby. At least one. Preferably more, in case something happens. Whoopsie. You want to have backup. You want to have backup kids. So it's what it is. Like, imagine if they had only had Colleen, and then Colleen was like, I'm gonna take myself out of the line of succession, things get complicated, you know? Backup kids.
Wait, before you go on, let me just make sure I have things written down. So it's first to keep online requires consent. There's something else you said, and then it was non-humans not being able to join is not officially the law, tradition, but the permission makes it basically the law, right? Was there something I missed between those two things?
Just that law is, in technicality, what happened to Colleen and why Colleen's not in the line of succession.
Great, that's my next question. You said that Kiva knows this. Does Kiva know this? Does Kiva know that her dad didn't give permission? Because that changes her relationship with her father.
I would say... okay.
I think that... I was under the impression, Anna was, that it was the law.
Perfect. Kiva thinks it's the law.
Okay. Because if she knew that her father... Because to her, if it's a law, it's not racist. Right? Like, it's racist still, but it's not like an active decision. It is...
Yeah.
And her father didn't do this to her. If her father is the one who didn't grant Colleen permission, then her father actively chose this for her.
Yeah. So Kiva thinks it's the law, and even for all Kiva knows, even after finding out more about this, her dad might also think it's the law that he has to say no in that case. Who knows? Aspen knows this stuff because he's just read through like a pile of legal books.
Yeah. And also Aspen is significantly more intelligent than Kiva, I think, literally on paper.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Aspen, yeah.
I mean, I would assume so. He has a 17 intelligence. He's
Yeah, she has an 11. She was very like, middle.
Yeah. So circling back to the whole adopted children and children born out of wedlock are ineligible thing in the line of succession, one thing you are able to find, Aspen, as you dig deeper is that although children born of wedlock are by default ineligible, there are some really like archaic and long unused processes by which someone could legally legitimize them in advance. Basically, you could make a specific person a legitimate partner in the bearing of heirs without marrying them. Does that make sense?
Yes, because if somebody were to be gay, right, like that, like if someone were to be a sperm donor or something. Are there queer? Is queerness allowed?
Yeah, girl, Siobhan and Evelyn.
Oh yeah, well, they were in line.
They are. They are in line.
Well, I guess they are. Well, there we go. Great.
You said they were. Were they just like?
At the same time,
Sorry, was this like strictly laws, or are these just like footnotes? Kind of like, well, actually, like
these are in the laws. They are encoded in law that you can do this. So it basically, but to be clear, if you cannot retroactively legitimize children that have already been born. So if like Jane is the queen and she and John don't want to get married, but she wants her children with John to be her heirs, if she has already had a baby with John, that baby cannot be brought into the line of succession. But if she uses these processes to legitimize John as a royal sperm donor, all future children with John would be in line of succession.
Can I go back to ask clarify my question? Because
yes,
have there been have the monarch ever had a same gendered partner in the line of Irador? Because Siobhan would have only ever done sixth or seventh in line for the throne, so like in all Furious probably could have said, yeah, I don't care because you're not going to be an issue.
I would say in recent history, no.
Yeah.
Especially because like this whole thing that Aspen just found hasn't been used in generations and generations. Like everyone would have forgotten that existed. Somebody was gay a long time ago.
So
I mean, they were,
or just didn't want to marry someone, whatever. Like
So for the adoption part,
you can't legitimize adopted children. There's not a way.
Just cool.
The not even loophole, the thing that you found to pre-legitimize children born out of wedlock, there's not a similar clause for adoption. Because the reason that there are ways to do it for children born out of wedlock but not for adoption is because the primogeniture and the succession laws of Irador are very much focused on it has to be bloodline.
Okay. Yeah.
They have to be born of the flesh and blood of the monarchy. And then, okay, you guys are good on that because literally the only thing I had for like DC 20 rather than DC 15 on this was, I was like, if they haven't already intuited their way to whatever conclusion, I will just get them there for a DC 20. Y'all already got to the conclusions you needed to. You're good.
Okay.
All right. So
Kiva's allowed to go be gay if Kiva wants to. Or not.
yeah. And Kiva's not required as monarch to marry anyone.
Oh, and then also just a reminder, all the suitors are men, though. That are on my list.
They have been, because mostly people have forgotten that there is a way to birth your heirs out of wedlock.
Cool.
So as far as everyone in your family remembers, the person you marry you need to marry someone who can participate with you in the creation of babies.
So we just need to figure out a way to make King Fergus bring Colleen back into the line of succession, because as of right now, technically she hasn't done anything wrong. Because it's just tradition, not law.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you didn't technically find anything that, because it hasn't ever really happened that somebody has been brought back into the line of succession after being removed from the line of succession. So you're not sure whether there's a process for that. You didn't find one.
Hey, there's a
so
first
it's possible
for everything.
So it's possible that you would convince him and he'd still be like, ooh, actually, officially, I can't. She's out. But that is worth looking into.
Would we also need to look at, like, would her children be considered legitimate because they were had within marriage, or but they would be had within a marriage that didn't have permission, so then it would be illegitimate?
The marriage is legitimate even though it was had without that, like, consent. The marriage itself is legitimate. It just removed her and her children from succession.
Okay.
Cool.
Yes.
So succession couldn't just, like, skip her but go down to her children. Like, her entire line is now cut off.
Correct.
Okay.
Especially her children, because they're the ones that are not human.
Yeah.
And I just re-uploaded the family tree in a higher res, because I had to re-download it from Canva. But
cool.
At some point I planned to, I was going to make art for all of them, and then I said, that's too much.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be too much.
Real. We can use our imaginations. We're powerful.
Okay, there's Tethys stuff that I still wanted to look into.
Yeah, I'll have you roll for, like, Tethys, Petra, Pythios, for all of that, because those are sort of categorically similar and you're going to be looking at a similar area of library. You can roll one investigation check for all of those.
Did we already technically look into the underworld afterlife stuff? Or
kind of.
Okay.
But I was going to lump that in with Pythios to some extent anyway.
Cool. Before we get into another thing of heavy lore, I suppose, Aspen would like to go find... Aspen wants to go look up and borrow a book to teach himself and Ozzy how to read Braille, and anyone else that would like to learn how to read Braille in our group, since he mentioned that specifically that he never learned.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have to roll for
I
that?
would say no. You ask a librarian and they take you to where that is, and it's fine. Like, that's an easy one. You don't have to look hard.
At this point, Aspen has just, like, stolen one of those little, like, book carts and has just, like, so many books piled
Heck
on.
yeah. That is smiled upon as a practice in this library.
Let's see. Am I missing anything else besides the god stuff that I want to look? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Because we've covered most of my bullet points.
I didn't do it in order because I did it in the way that it felt like it naturally was the best to go.
That is okay.
So, okay, now we can look into the gods and stuff. So,
Excellent.
for Anna,
Make an
I
investigation
said
check for that.
I'd like to look more into Tethys herself to try and figure out why her followers might have called for heiress and what that sort of deal might have been, and also maybe look into. Oh no, I already did that. And I wanted to learn more about Petra, Pythios, and the underworld stuff. Just to get a sort of vibe on all of them to see if Ozzy has gotten really fucked up. Maybe without his knowledge. And yeah, I think he will take advantage from one of the librarians again.
Perfect.
25.
Hell yes. Okay, hang on. I'm writing myself a note for later, because otherwise everything will exit my brain the moment we end the session.
Of course. Did you say you were lumping all of the gods together in one investigation?
I'm gonna let that roll. I'm not gonna make you roll so many investigation checks. That would be ridiculous. I say, having already made you roll like at least 5.
Oh,
but
it's
that's
fine.
we've rolled enough. All right.
Never have too many
so,
rolls.
True. So, on all 3 of those gods, you definitely find plenty of like mythology, whatever. I'll be so honest, I didn't make up a ton more specific mythology.
No, that's fine.
I thought about it, and then I was like, we'll just use our imaginations collectively. It's fine.
Yeah.
So that's honestly mostly what you're able to find, is a lot of stuff that you already have come across in your schooling, etc. But for Tethys, things that you learn include her communication with mortals takes place most often through cryptic, vague messages in dreams. You learn that. And another thing you learn about her.
Did you say messages in dreams, like inside dreams, or and?
Yeah, within. And then in terms of learning about like her followers, Tethys' followers are the patrons of knowledge on the mortal plane. They are charged with seeking out and gaining knowledge, safeguarding knowledge, and educating others. Worship of Tethys is honestly pretty like straightforward worship shit. It's like prayer, medication, not medication.
Gotta take them drugs. Take that Adderall
prayer,
so you can focus better on studying.
Meditation, burning incense, a lot of other classic forms of worship. It would be hilarious if I was like, the classic forms of worship, drugs. Tethys expects complete devotion from her followers, both to herself and to the pursuit of knowledge and the maintenance of order. And I know that you mentioned when you were talking about wanting to look into Tethys, I know you mentioned wanting to see if you could find anything related to the heiress debacle.
Mm-hmm.
You don't find anything mentioning that, like, that term of like the Scion or anything like that. Or anything that references boys or men in the order in any way. Except for, like, they've had trans women. Trans women are women, and the Tethynian order knows that. So you find that they are not TERFs. But there have never actually been any boys or men in the order.
Yeah, good to verify.
And actually, they do kick trans men out of the order.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So then Petra and Pythios-wise,
Hold on, give me 1 second.
one of the things... Yeah, please. You're good. Take your time.
Okay.
Excellent.
That's your
So,
time.
yeah, one thing I will mention about like mythology stuff is I will remind you what I think I mentioned at some point, but I'm worried that I didn't, which is that Pythios is, in mythological canon, the child of Petra and Ajax.
Yep.
But not
then,
in like a sex way, kind of like an Athena like brainchild way, right?
Possibly. It's a little non-specific. It's weird because a lot of the stuff in the mythology that talks about like the relationship between Petra and Ajax, or that they had when they supposedly created Pythios, is kind of that weird, almost like Achilles Patroclus space of like, it's not super clear whether that was a romance thing or just like a deep connection on a spiritual immortal level. But whether it was romantic or not, Pythios was born from that connection between them and their relationship, rather than exiting Petra's godly vagina.
Godly vagina is a direct quote.
No.
Damn it.
From me, but not from the books. Because I think the books talked more about like what did happen in vague terms than being like, specifically, to note, Pythios was not a vaginal birth. Pythios was a C-section. No. Things
No, that was
that you find
Aphrodite.
out.
That's close.
Okay. All right, that's fine. God, okay. I'm not recovering from that anytime soon.
Good.
Okay.
Oh, always.
Very good pun. Okay. So in terms of like Pythios underworld stuff, you don't find out a lot that's new to you. Because we've talked sort of about that.
Oh, was the Pythios being Petra's child the only thing we found about her, really?
I'd say for both and for Tethys, you're able to find plenty of mythology stuff, but not really anything new to you, really.
But like that's the
especially
one
like
main.
I would bet Aspen was at least a little bit of mythology kid.
Absolutely.
So Aspen's not finding a lot of mythology he has not read. And so then one thing though I will say outside of mythology for all of them, for Petra, you do find also like history concerning champions of Petra, because they've often performed heroic deeds in the course of enacting justice and restoring balance in her name. So it's a lot of like people whose stories are reminiscent of like Greek heroes or like a Joan of Arc or all of that kind of stuff. There are a lot of historically glorified champions of Petra. It's some solid ranks to be among.
Okay. All right. So for Pythios, then.
I would say you don't find much about Pythios or the underworld outside of mythology that we've discussed and you're familiar with. I don't think. But I mean, one thing you don't find is anything talking about him making other like exceptions or deals like he made with Ozzy.
What's the general disposition / view that the people have of Pythios? Is he like kind of like scary, or is he just like kind of there?
I mean, some people find him inherently scary because he is associated with death. But for the most part, in the mythology and in the zeitgeist, whatever, he is sort of how I talked about in like the more Thanatos Anubis vibe, where he's more respected as like a caretaker of the dead and of the transition than as like an evil bitch. He's really not seen as an evil bitch. Or as like, so it's very much not as much in like a Hades or a Satan, Christian devil, whatever. So there are definitely people who are still scared of him because of what he represents. But mostly the people of the continent have a chill relationship with him. But once again, as we've discussed, most of the time when there have been instances of people like worshiping him in particular, they've been like weird zealots who were like worshiping death in the weird way. So you do definitely find in your research like records of the weird death cults that Pythios was very much openly not on board with.
Mm-hmm. Now, or back to Petra, presumably she's seen as like very good, right? Because she's like justice.
Yeah.
Okay. What sort of things has she tasked her champions with? Has she ever tasked them with like such huge monumental tasks that were like impossible for that person to complete type thing?
I think a lot of times it's the kind of stuff that would be impossible for that person to complete without godly aid, that like most individuals wouldn't be able to accomplish. So it's a lot of stuff of like rooting out corruption or like overthrowing corrupt people, and that kind of thing. Like her champions have often been central to wars, and that kind of thing. It's a lot of times the kind of thing that requires kind of a warrior type person, but it has also been like champions of Petra have also taken like diplomatic routes to stuff and been less aggressive leaders and that kind of thing. But it's often like it's not really, or at least there aren't really a lot of writings that you're finding concerning like champions of Petra that have become champions of Petra to deal with like small disputes or whatever.
Yeah. Is there like a pattern to when she chooses a champion? Like when one dies, does she like go and choose another one, or is it like whenever there's something big and important that she?
That one. She probably has. Okay. She has multiple at any given time.
Okay.
Probably. They just don't really know each other. Like it's not like Ozzy has a monthly meeting with the other current champions of Petra. They're all kind of.
He doesn't have a monthly.
Having their own.
See how fun it would be if he did. Have you considered?
I did, but this makes more sense. He has check-ins with Petra, and all of them have like
I
more
thought
of
you
an
said
individual
chickens,
personal relationship.
like the animal. I was like, wait, why would he have chickens with a god? Check-ins, Anna. Okay.
Love it. And like all the champions of Petra have more like personal relationships with Petra herself to achieve their goals. And
Okay.
there have been plenty of times when champions of Petra have maybe worked together to accomplish something, but it's not the norm.
Okay, I think that's it for me.
Good, because I've run out of things that I wrote down to tell you.
Oh, good.
Well, you told us a lot, so that's
Mhm.
reasonable.
Yeah. I was really hoping that library would not magically be a really quick thing we did, because I was like, most of what I have prepped is library.
No, that is
Have
a
you ever
lot.
noticed to not ask 18 follow-up questions for every single fact you give us?
I guess, but like, what if you guys had suddenly been less interested in like half the research topics? I never know. Or what if you'd been like, fuck the library, we're doing something else? I would have been like, oh no. Oh no.
We'd actually go cruising for dudes for like 3 hours of real lifetime.
I mean, that I am prepared for you to do to some extent.
Going back to what we found about Irador, Aspen will share what he found, obviously. Like, I wasn't exactly sure how you felt about this, because, like, I know you don't want to marry someone you don't really know, but I also looked into, like, how the line of succession works, and because I know being, crown princess was kind of thrust upon you unexpectedly, and I know you enjoy being a princess, and I think you'll, like, be an amazing queen, if that's what you want, but in case that isn't what you want, I did try to look for a way, for an out for you.
Aspen, I appreciate it, but the law is pretty clear. It's me. It's gonna be me. I don't have much of a choice in the matter.
It's gonna be my
May.
Well,
It's gonna be May. I'm pointing at you. Yeah.
I don't know if it has to be you, since it's not really a law that non-humans can't join the secession. It's just a tradition. And although no one had ever been reinstated into the line of succession, there are firsts for everything. And so I personally don't see, like, I didn't really see anything about why it can't be like that.
Pause. Sorry, my headphones just are dying.
No. Oh, that reminds me. I finally remembered for once to charge my headphones in advance of D&D, and I'm very proud of myself.
I didn't.
That's okay. We can't all
you,
on a given week.
I normally do a pretty good job, but today, not it. But
See,
that's okay.
This time it was me, and then it'll switch
Betrayed
back to mostly being you.
My AirPods will just never last a full session because they don't last for 3 hours on one charge. But Aspen, I don't know what you were reading, but the law says that you can't be. I know what the law says. It's sort of been drilled into me my whole life. And maybe you sort of misunderstood they're pretty dense and hard to read, so maybe you sort of misunderstood what it was saying. But yeah,
Aspen starts pulling out receipts.
Hell yes.
Well, I mean, he like points out the specific passages and stuff. It's like that's nothing in here specifically says that non-humans strictly aren't allowed to join royal succession.
And I would say you found, rather than just having to point out to Kiva, look at all the not there. Look at all the how much it's not there. I would say you also definitely found some like legal scholarship that talked about this tradition and how it's not technically a law, but it's been a tradition for so long it might as well be. You can point out that.
Would there have been any chance these books are now outdated, or is this like the most relevant information?
It is so updated.
Okay. These came out yesterday.
Well, no. But
oh wow, look at the publication date. Yeah, you're right.
But it definitely, like, this library like makes updates to especially like that section anytime that there is major law change anywhere.
Aspen, I see what you're saying, but it can't be right.
Well, what do you mean it can't be right? I mean, it's right here. We're looking at it. This is the laws.
I'm not denying you that. It's just that my dad wouldn't have done that to me. He wouldn't, and Colleen, he wouldn't have said no. He likes Malachi. He loves the kids. And no one in their right mind would choose me over her for the crown. She's been training for it for her whole life. So regardless of what it says here, doesn't mean anything because it's not what's happening. It's not.
I wonder, since this tradition has been going on for so long, I wonder if, like, your father wasn't aware of this fact, and he also presumed it was a law because of how far back it goes. Like how, and then he flips over to the archaic legitimization child laws. Like this, so if to legitimize a child before, is it before birth or before conception?
Oh God.
Because I could see it being...
It's meant to be before conception.
Yeah, because I could see it being like the queen finds out she's pregnant from her lover. Oh shit. This child's fine.
No, in that case, you would be better off shotgun weddinging.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's meant to be before conception. It is, I mean, obviously that's a little harder to enforce, but the spirit of the law is you gotta pre-plan this shit. When you're having sex with this person, it needs to be with the intent of conceiving heirs.
Cool. But like, this is such an old book. I literally found dust on this one. It had not been touched in years. I had to do like the like very cinematic, like blowing the dust off the book cover. It was a mess. They really need to dust more. But
the librarian who was showing you in the section sneezed like 8 times after that.
But so I wonder if your father was under the same thought as you. Like, maybe it's not exactly his fault that he cut your sister out of succession, because maybe he also didn't know.
But I don't know what to say.
I just wanted to, I guess, give you options. Because again, I know, you know, Crown Princess was kind of thrust upon you, and that is not what you had been expecting for most of your life. So just, if you are like looking forward to being queen now, which again, I think you would be a magnificent queen, we can just ignore this, obviously. But
thanks for looking into it. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, also it means that once you're queen, you aren't required to stop anyone from marrying anybody non-human if they want. It would be your decision to uphold that or not to.
Can I grant my own marriage then, if I'm the sovereign?
Once you were sovereign, I seems so, yeah.
That is fascinating, but I don't think it ultimately matters very much.
okay.
I mean, I don't have to marry anybody on this suitor tour, but it means a stronger nation. It means a stronger Irador if we have the right diplomatic connections. I don't have to be the crown princess, but Colleen's so happy now that their house out in the country. The kids are so free and so happy when they run, and they don't have to learn all the stuff that she did. And I didn't have to learn it either, but I had to learn more than they do, and they're sort of not really expected to be at court. And Caelan could absolutely not be the monarch of Irador because he'd fuck everything up. My idiot little brother? Absolutely not! He cannot be in charge of anything. I could barely trust him. Barely trust him with a spell book. I don't even know how your dad keeps him in line to. So he hasn't blown everybody up yet. He can absolutely, under no circumstances, be in charge of more than him.
Oh no.
Did we freeze?
Yeah.
We're back.
Yeah.
Yeah. My brother's an idiot. He cannot be the king. He would do things like allow stupid things to happen.
Right, so you really needed to have babies then, because he will be next in line after you.
I'd like to be a mother someday, but sort of figured I'm a little bit young for that.
No, I didn't mean right now. I just meant in general, because Aspen was saying you technically aren't required to, but if you want to put some stopgaps in the line of succession before your brother,
it's good he's getting the arcane training, but and he can advise me in matters of the arcane, much like Aspen's advises mine. But ultimately, I'd still have the power in that circumstance, and grain of salt and all that. But it is all. I'm very touched that you looked into this for me, Aspen. I'm really appreciate that you're in my life, and you're looking out for me before you even get paid for it.
Well, duh.
Aspen will expect back pay for this moment.
No, I won't.
I'm kidding.
I will be your bestie for free forever.
And Kiva does like one of the arm around the neck kind of hugs, and maybe a little bit too tight on his little twink neck.
Yeah, little twink neck.
Careful, you'll break it.
Yeah.
She could.
Yeah. I do notice you were saying lots of have tos. But I think it's important about what you want as well. I know duty is important, but you're also yourself. You've surely had dreams and like a plan for your life before the crown stepped in your way. And I think you should be free to choose which path you go down.
Well, my plan was always sort of
Had to get up and yeah.
Yeah, I was really taking a moment to enjoy the juxtaposition between these two player characters that in so many ways is better than I could have possibly planned it. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, no, I always sort of planned of running away to go to adventure and find the giants. And I'm sort of doing that now, so
yeah, we are
nice. Though the time that was the plan, I sort of thought giants were sort of commonplace and didn't really realize that they've sort of been lost to history and common experience. So that's a bit fascinating to know that everyone thinks I'm right wacky when I talk about it. But it's good to know that I don't have to do anything, but at the same time, Killian's such a fucking idiot.
I can't relate. I don't have any younger siblings. I don't know what it's like.
Oh no, Aspen, are you the fucking idiot?
What?
You're the little brother, and my little brother is an idiot. So if you're a little brother, does that make you? I mean, I know you're not an idiot because you're so smart and wonderful and talented. But I just realized that if you're the youngest, and that you probably are somebody's idiot.
Yeah, my little brother's kind of an idiot.
He is.
Aspen takes some time to think about this.
Aspen, roll an insight. No, I'm kidding.
I was disowned by my family, so yeah, probably.
Sorry for bringing up that
possible response.
Right.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. It's fine.
But I do feel like I have been forging a bit in my own path. Because I was only ever supposed to be a beautiful wife for somebody. And I wanted to do adventure and find the giants again. But now I get to do all the things. And I get to be a beautiful wife to somebody still, even though, whether or not I get to be someone's beautiful wife, but also I get to be their boss, but being their queen, because I ultimately have that sort of authority. But I'm also an adventurer now, so I'm sort of doing everything.
You're gonna be such a badass
Right, and I mean,
queen. Like,
once you're a queen, it's not like anybody can tell you, no, you can't go adventuring.
Fiona might have some words to say about that. She probably would have a schedule for me once I'm
Right,
sort
but
of in that position.
You have the authority to supersede that.
But sort of have the authority. I'm sort of still like supposed to be working in service with the people of Irador, and so ultimately I am the highest. I'd be the highest authority in the land. I still. There's also Caelan Cahir, who's sort of the patron god of the nation. So I definitely would be bound to her will. So she'd be the authority over me for sure. But also, sort of just the nation at Irador, I'd sort of be the people's princess and do what they want of me.
Yeah. Did
Aspen?
King Fergus go adventuring when he was younger? Like maybe like Prince? Like you? Or I can't say I can imagine him going out and
He's
adventuring.
Definitely, he has to be. He's at least trained in fighting because his portrait is him in a giant suit of armor.
I also personally don't think that's very telling of his, because since Irador places such an importance on battle, I feel, and also like just the creature, like the D&D creature nobles have like proficiency in like rapiers and in some sort of fighting.
That's true. May, if you have different answers to this,
this is up to you.
Sean, her uncle, definitely has been an adventurer on and off his whole life. He's the one she was the person who mainly trained Kiva to fight. Besides like what Freya taught her with the giants. It's the first time I've read my backstory and like since I wrote it probably. Uncle Sean is a knight or an adventurer or somebody who knows how to fight. But they really bonded over
I know
there.
who Sean is now, if that's helpful.
Great.
Sean is currently like the captain of the guard, essentially.
Yeah, okay, great, yeah. But they bonded over being the spare. I think that the father, Fergus, has seen some sort of combat because he is a large, burly man. And I don't know what that translates to in the history of Irador, because obviously it's been within this time of not war. But
I'd say there have been like border skirmishes and bandits and ruffians. There's been ruffians. He's had to take down some ruffians.
Those darn ruffians always getting in the way.
I feel like also just being the patron, like the patron god being the god of war. Like I feel like they are all just like, yes, in warfare, like the chess aspects, but I feel like I just see them as a very like warrior king lineage. So her
that's the imagery for sure.
Like perhaps if she had, but she's also she'll be the first queen in at least 4 generations. She'll be the first female heir in at least 4 generations. Because Fergus the Third was born of is a son of a son of a son.
Mm-hmm.
So,
is there a reason?
I'm gonna put it in now in the lore that before Fergus the First, it was his older sister.
Great. Yeah, I said I think I only need to go like 3 generations back is enough. Which I think is correct. The correct take that I made. But I've been slowly working on adding more faces to this tree because it made me sad to see it all as but I'm also staunchly not creating new things on Midjourney, so I'm just like, let me just go on Pinterest and use other people's AI creations, because what else do you do? Like, as long as I'm not making them, maybe I'll feel like it's just not as bad. For the environment, and because you can't get away from, literally it's all Pinterest is now. It's just
I know that's really annoying. When I was looking for like drawing references and stuff, and I was like, all of this is not real.
Yeah.
I thought they put in something a little while ago that helps filter out the AI, but I was looking for it again recently and was struggling to find it. But I don't remember if I was
only
on
a little bit. It doesn't completely work.
And also,
yeah.
for D&D character art specifically, it's very you know.
But is there a reason Caelan wasn't named Fergus the Fourth, or like is it just because he wasn't the oldest?
That's where I was going. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And also the C name. I don't know.
He's not the oldest. That would have been a little silly.
Yeah.
Right. By the time they got to him, they were like, we kind of have a theme going.
Yeah, because Colleen, Kiva, Killian.
They considered naming him Kyrgyz, but
I think maybe Fergus is his second name.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
And in the way of the weird thing that happens with monarchies, but not with normal families, if there is another King Fergus later, that number would just continue to the next one.
Yeah.
Rather than in normal families, if you're John Smith III, and then your son is named Chuck, and then Chuck has a son named John, he's now John Smith IV.
Yeah.
But for monarchies.
Yeah. I shouldn't add the King Fergus in front of it, but yeah, that's how I also think I was looking at it when I was doing that. Yeah. It just happens to be that the 3 in a row said, let me name my son after myself, because that is the peak male ego experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what you do.
I've always hated that. I think it's gross.
And also it just causes unnecessary confusion.
Yeah. In my elementary school class, there was a kid that was a junior. His name was Adam, his dad's name was Adam. And that must cause so much confusion in the house or something.
I know a lot of creative, weird nicknamey ways people have gone about it. My mom does know a family that for generations have named their firstborn son and daughter Bill and Martha. I guess William and Martha. Mm-hmm. So at least in that case, it's a both. It's not gender specific.
Yeah, that's still crazy. That's even more crazy to me. I don't know. My dad is Richard Ravenel, and my grandfather is Richard Ravenel, but not the same middle name. Mm-hmm. And also, it just got annoying and confusing, especially when it was to confirm, stuff.
Yeah, I know there was a guy in my elementary school class who we knew him as Jack, but his name was technically John, but his dad's name was John. He went by Jack. And then there was another Jack in our class, so he didn't even go by Jack, he went by JP because his last name started with a P.
Amazing.
This is why everyone's coming up with names that have 9 extra letters.
Honest.
I think, unless you guys have anything else, that can be the session.
Aspen did want to go to the taverns to do his tiefling propaganda stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys, we're not leaving the city or anything.
Okay.
Great. Yeah, I will say, when you guys went into the library, it was noon,
that's
roughly.
Right, yeah.
By the time you come out, it's long dark.
Is it past time where people would be at the taverns, or do you think they'd be full?
I'd say it's 9 p.m. So it's still early in tavern time.
It's prime tavern time.
Okay, I actually wrote something. I don't know if I want to it out loud. Sounds scary.
You don't necessarily have to, or you can do it in 8 to 9 weeks if you want to prepare.
I mean,
I think we should start
guess.
the next time.
Okay.
Because I feel like we can have we'll have like a fun scene out of it. Like, of the repercussions.
Yeah. And also,
like, give it time to...
You are not required to read it out loud either if you don't want to.
Okay.
Or that. Yeah, you can decide. You can, you know.
Mm-hmm. Take some time to let it marinate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Maybe I'll come up with something even better.
You never
just
know.
Scrap this entirely. Probably not.
That's how I feel about my like world building and plans every section between my turns. I'm like, what if I just throw everything away? I've got so many weeks.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the real way to make plot twists happen, is because nothing that I originally planned exists anymore. So
when do we have to return the books?
Oh, I would say probably by the end of this month that you have temporary membership.
Cool.
That seems normal.
Can we like mail them back? Because I'm assuming we're not going to be in Ivorgard for a month.
So one thing is, there's a degree to it. Like some of the stuff that Kiva got, like some copies and notes made on that you might need in specific when you're like in Hyrioth, that's fine. You don't have to return your notes. The other stuff you're supposed to return in person. I guess you could like ask. You could technically like leave them in care of Thaddace to take them back for you, but they do need to be returned in person. You could probably, given that your best friend is a princess, you could get a courier to bring them back.
Yay.
And also requisition copies made of the things you need copies made of.
Yeah.
I was just thinking it's not realistic for Aspen to read a whole novel in like a day or two when we've got other stuff to do.
Yeah, somebody could return it.
I'm sure there's a bookstore in town. We can just go buy you a copy.
Surely they're sold out.
I don't know. They might be back to not being sold out by now, because it was like a month ago it came out.
You're right. Can we check a bookstore?
Yes. You go to a bookstore. The man who runs the bookstore, his name is Kelvin.
Like the temperature.
But spelled different. It's spelled with a Y.
Okay.
And he happily sells you a copy of the book while telling you very proudly how you came to the right bookstore, because his brother's competing bookstore probably doesn't have copies in right now, because his brother's not as on top of things as he is and didn't think to order. Probably he's like, none of what he's saying seems corroborated by, like, he doesn't know this for sure, but he's like, probably my brother didn't think to order another shipment after, so he's probably sold out, and it's best that you came here.
Can Aspen buy two copies?
We also buy a copy of number 18 if they have that in stock.
Yeah, definitely.
Great.
I thought of a cute thing. I want Aspen to mail that copy of the book back to Sonia with a little like note written on the inside cover. That's just like very simply thinking of you, or something. And requests Sonia to give it to their mother. Because I'm sure Sonia also enjoys the books, but like Aspen really bonded with his mother over these books.
Right. And Sonia, probably knowing Sonia's probably already read it.
Absolutely. I mean, they're literally they're rich. I'm sure they already have a copy of it, but
this is special. Yeah. You do that. And Calvin's brother who runs the competing bookstore, who he's complaining to you about unsolicited. His brother's name is Celsus. This brought to you by the fact that when I was constructing the list of like name bank for Altala, on 2 separate lists that I was drawing from, I found the names Kelvin and Celsus, and I was like, that's really funny. Celsus is not a name that I want to use on its own. And then I wrote a note to myself somewhere. In Ivergard, there are competing shopkeepers who are brothers named Kelvin and Celsus.
That's perfect.
I've been waiting for this moment.
I did not expect that you really.
I can't believe you were prepared.
Names. Yeah, exactly. Right, like.
Yeah. So honest, was not prepared for you to go to like random bookstore. I was prepared for you to go to a shop because I thought this would be really funny.
My little description
that's your April Fool's joke. Is Kelvin and Celsus.
Yay. I love it. I feel like they have a sister named Farron, and then like her. She got married, so her last name is Height or something.
Actually, they know Fearin, weirdly enough.
Fearin gets around.
They traded on a small island off the coast of Prismara.
Who knows?
Strangely, one day.
All right. Yay! That was fun.
Yay.
I love libraries.
That was fun.